My name is Rose Colombo. Welcome back to Women Fight Back for Legal Justice. We'll be talking to two mothers who were imprisoned after divorce. And our first mother is April Curtis Meyer, who went underground. Hi, April.
It's good to share my story.
Well, I'm glad to see you here and be able to tell your story to the general public. Hi, Jeannie.
Hi, Rose.
How are you today?
I'm okay.
Good.
But I am glad to be here too. It'll be nice to be able to share my story, without being judged in a legal court arena.
Well, good. Let's start with April.
Closures, not only to me, to social workers, to her teachers, to sheriffs, to police, to psychologists. Her preschool, when she would go in for show and tell and lift her dress up to everyone and let them know that this is what Daddy does to me.
And how old was she at the time?
She first started disclosing when she was 2.
2 years old.
And she was very precocious. She started speaking when she was 10 months, so she was quite verbal.
Okay, so did you take your daughter to a doctor to have her examined?
Yes, there were numerous exams, which I was also accused of abusing her, because I would take her to the doctors like they say you're supposed to. When a child has reported some injury, you take him to a doctor. Well, then they would turn around and use that against me in court, saying that I had contributed to her abuse as well.
Well, the ambiguous decisions by our don't always work out. It's like a two-sided
right. Now, on the other hand,
sword.
If she had disclosed abuse and I had not taken her to the doctors, then I would have been in trouble.
Well, you probably would have been charged with not protecting your child. Yes, I understand. So this is a very serious situation now. Here your little genital warts,
right,
and she's been sexually transmitted disease that I read could be cancerous.
Right, and it could end up, she could be sterile.
Mm-hmm. So what happened when you had all of these people that said, yes, this is what happened? And your daughter's saying, yes, this is what happened.
Right, but you have to remember, when a child is a young age, they are not held credible. They do not like to listen to the children. Most district attorneys will not prosecute because of if a child is at a young age. And so not only does the child become a victim of the system, but the parent that is protecting, whether it's a mother or a father, becomes a victim of the system. And you can only take so much. I mean, man has a law. Most of us are raised. We follow the rules. But when I had to answer to God, and I could not continue to subject my daughter.
So you felt it was more of a moral issue than a legal issue?
Right.
Do you believe that maybe some of these issues shouldn't even be within the legal system in a court of law? Do you believe that maybe these types of issues where children are involved should be perhaps in an alternative type of situation? And I'm not talking about juvenile court either, where the information is kept from the general public and
confidential.
Kept confidential, and the general public,
the guilty people, the judges and the prosecutors.
Still it. Well, the general public is not allowed to review, and therefore the general public is ignorant of what's going on in that system.
Many times they will not even let mom and dad into the juvenile courts as well.
Yes, I read the laws in the juvenile court files, and they stated that it is up to the judge to make a determination whether he wants this information disseminated to the parents or anyone else.
Correct.
So what rights do your children have?
None.
So the children have no rights regardless of the medical reports. Now, what I find interesting is that who most doctors we respect. Their opinions, they're educated, they go to school for many, many years to study their specialties, and I find it difficult to believe that a judge, I mean, okay, we can say that maybe he doesn't believe the child because of the tender age, but what about a doctor who specializes in the field of gynecology or cancer or whatever else he specializes in, and puts his reputation on the line to testify, yes, this is what we found, and then his testimony is disregarded.
This happens in many cases. And I don't have that
CPS called you on the phone. They wanted you to deliver your children to them. Did you do that?
Yes, I did end up doing that. They led me to believe they just wanted to see the children and me under that pretense, and then they wanted to take them the same day. But I pointed out that they need to have a proper chance to say goodbye to their friends, neighbors, their home, their pets, their grandmother, and to me.
So they were taking your children from you because they disclosed sexual abuse by their father.
That's right.
Okay. What about due process of law? Do you believe that you were given due process of law when you had to deliver them to Child Protective Service so they can remove them from you because you were not accused of a crime?
That's right. That's correct. No, absolutely not. I do not feel that due process of law took place here in this matter. They told me that they needed to conduct an investigation, and the legal justice system has failed, and to give everybody a break, they're going to take the children. And I have not neglected my children. I have not abused my children. And then once we actually get to our first hearing at juvenile court, in the documents, they state that both parents are guilty of emotional abuse to the children because they're in court all the time, and they're calling it a custody battle. And this is what they refer to it throughout the nation. And the only recourse a protective parent has when a child is being neglected, abused, physically abused, or sexual abuse is in the court system. And so...
Well, that's true, Jeannie, but the point I was making here is they took your children away from you after you had delivered them to Child Protective Services, turned it into a custody battle rather than a case of children disclosing sexual abuse against them. Now, when they took your children, where did they place your children? Did they place them with the perpetrator, or where did they place them?
The first time they placed them in foster care up in the desert. And then at some point in time, well...
And that's at the taxpayer's expense.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
So now they've taken the children away who...
And mind you, this is to conduct an investigation, and my 4-year-old daughter had never been away from home.